There we go.
There we
What's up,
go.
buddy?
How you doing, bro?
How you doing, mate? I'm all right. You?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
You're out.
Move your phone this way so we can see the master breeder properly. There you go. There you go.
So you're alive.
What's that?
You're alive. The hurricane hasn't taken
I'm
you.
alive, mate. I'm alive. I'm alive.
Is it bad or is it okay or what?
You know, I'm grateful to God. The house is solid. You've been here. You've seen the house. It's poured cement and it's 20 inches wide. So you're talking quite a bit of block.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, it's it's cement walls on the inside too. And the tiles on the roof are made of I forgot what kind of stone it is. So everything's heavy. It would take a serious hurricane to lift it up. My concern was really the kennel, because even though the kennel is built out of cement blocks and poured cement as well, the roof is not a tile roof, and if the trees fall and they hit the roof, they cave it in, and it rains, it will flood. But the nice thing is there is a draining system inside the kennel, as you know, all the way around. So if the water came in, it would go back out. It's just not a good situation for the dogs.
Yeah.
Tornadoes are the worst, because if they get inside, they'll flip everything around and kill everything. So that was my concern. But we did it right. Broke a gate, a couple of trees, well, one tree, a couple of lights. A few $1,000s in damage. Nothing that we can't handle. There's people out there that lost their homes, people that passed away, people that injuries, and all kinds of stuff. I feel for those people more than us. I'm not even gonna mention what happened to us. We're good. Thank God. It's a blessing.
Yeah, 100%. I was speaking to a friend, one of my best friends. He lives near Asheville. I think it's in Charlotte or North Carolina, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And he said his wife is doing some work with the local hospital, and they have 100 employees unaccounted for.
Yeah. Easy, because they had a dam flood. The dam broke and it flooded the whole town.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was more the dam did more damage than the actual hurricane. Yeah.
Crazy.
This hurricane that just came, that is one of the strongest hurricanes that ever hit us, if not the strongest. What's that?
Is it going to get worse?
We've never thought this was possible. This is, the winds reach 225 miles per hour. Think of it this way, like for code, when you're building, everything has to be 200 miles per hour hurricane proof. And that's already more than the world record. The record that ever hit us was actually in Naples a few years, in 2017, it was 145 miles per hour. So it's almost 80 miles per hour more than the highest recorded winds,
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's insane. Like that, no one ever thought that a hurricane can get that powerful.
Like, I take it like, so, like I'm like, oh, it's a hurricane, or because we don't deal with any of this. So when we hear it, it's kind of like, oh, it's just another one. This just happens in America. But then when you're talking to people now, it's like, no, Paddy, we used to be like that, but this is a little more serious.
Yeah, this one was serious. I never usually worry. Like when hurricanes coming, I'm like, whatever. I don't even put up the shutters. This time I did. It's my first time putting them up. Like they're still up. Like I went to open the blinds and realized I can't see out because there's metal bars. So, yeah.
How's Trisha? How's your family? How's everything going, bro?
Everybody's good, man. Everybody's good. My son's having a little party with his work buddies out there. So my daughter and my son. Huh?
They're not that worried.
No. They're not worried. Hurricane's over. It passed. We good.
But is there not another one coming?
Nah, that's a tiny one. We're not worried about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So look, it's been a while since we talk regularly enough, but it's been a while since we actually sat down and had a conversation. We had good conversation when I was there. It was good to pick your brain. It was good to see what your take was on different things, and I think probably the things I came away with was that you know this better than anyone, Bashir. People on social media are completely different than what they're like in person.
Yeah.
I think I think the thing is with you though, is that you are probably exactly what you see. You're a good guy. You're a family guy. Your dogs are insane. Like, and anyone who knows me will say, for Paddy to say that is a big thing. You really had me looking at things differently. You had me looking slightly at genetics differently. But I suppose the overall is, you rely heavily on God, which I do too, mate. And I think that's probably the thing you had most in common. But I think one of the biggest things was that when you look at the industry, you talk about it differently than other people. And you're kind of, if you don't mind me saying, you're kind of this way, is that I've done this and it works. If you don't believe in that, that's your business. Like,
yeah.
you ever hear that saying, he got the horse blinkers on, you got your blinkers on, and it works. If you're not part of it, then that's fine. I'm not going to hate on you, but bye.
Yeah, it's
just for anyone watching this, that's what I picked up from Bashir. Great guy. He was very, very good to me when I came to his home. But I want to pick your brains for a minute, because when I get speaking to you, when we went for our meals and stuff, you talked a lot about genetics and different things, which we can get into another time. But right now, for everyone out there, because people are struggling with, they don't know what's happening, they're guessing, they're asking the wrong people. I'm going to ask, one of the guys I would trust in the industry is, where do you see dog breeding in general, where it is, and where do you see it going?
Okay. So there was a phase that happened. I think a lot of people saw that there was good money to be made in the dog world, and they dived in not knowing that it's not as simple as it is. If things are that easy, everybody would do it. And I think that's what happens. Everyone, you just get 2 dogs and you put them together and you sell all the pups. No, there's a science to putting the dogs together, and more importantly, there's a science to the marketing, and there's a science to building a reputation, a long-term reputation. And what you had happen is you had a lot of people not be honest. They spent a lot of money about the wrong dogs, did little research, allow people to influence their thoughts and their opinions about the good breeders, because how do you compete with good breeders? You talk bad about them and you destroy them, and you hustle and lie and sell your dogs over theirs, and then those people learn the hard way because they believe the lies they heard. So whenever you hear someone talk bad about somebody else, you should already know that not to buy from that person. Like, people come to me and they show me dogs, and sometimes I know that the dog that they're showing me is not worth a damn, but I never say a word. I say, yeah, that's great, it's a nice dog, you should talk to that person. I don't know anything about it. I stay out of it. I never put anyone down. It's not good karma anyways. And I think they're so obsessed in wanting to be the best, and that's more important to them than doing business properly. So at the end of the day, those people don't last. But this is nothing new. I've seen those kind of people come in the mid-2000s, disappear, and seen them come around between 2010 and 15 and disappear. Seen them come around from 15 to 20 and disappear, and now they're disappearing from 20 to now. So I've seen it happen. It's waves. And then more people come. Business for me is always good. We have a reputation. Muscletone has a name, and our clientele is a little bit different. And I pride bringing people on to meet these type of clients, to grow that market for everyone. If you don't step out of the small market of breeders that you're dealing with, like, I sell dogs as pets for 6 figures and 7 figures, okay? And people are selling dogs for 5,000 as breeding stock. So underpricing their studs, and giving things away out of desperation. I would rather give it away for free and neuter it before I do something that stupid. And I explained it to somebody the other day, like, there's 2 ways to look at it. I can put, like, just per se right now, I put King Kong for $2,500. I will literally stud that dog out 5 times a week at least. Will that be more money than if I have him at 5,000? Yes. Quantity wise, I will make a little more money, maybe a lot more money every month off the dog than I would off $5,000. But what happens to that dog next year? No one will buy him for 6, 7 figures. No one's gonna want to use him because he's gonna have too many offsprings out.
Yeah.
No one's gonna give two flying crap about that dog. Okay. So you have to keep something exclusive. Like I use a very prime example. A lot of people talk about my cars. You see my cars. I have a lot of one of 120, but the one I have is the only one made that way. For example, or, like let's take the SLS, the Black Series. They made 250, but only 128 for the American market with those seats. But the one I got is only one. So when I bought it, I spent a lot of money. The car new was probably around 350,000. I paid close to 700,000 for it used. And everyone's like, oh, who buys a used car for double what it's worth? But now it's worth over $1 million, over $1.2 million. And I know that in a few years it'll be $2-3 million. So why is it worth so much? Because the exclusivity of it, right? So when you overbuild something, it's not worth shit.
Yeah.
And or you're in the UK, McLarens. They make lots of McLarens. They make 5, 6, 7,000 McLarens a year. So if I were to buy a 570 McLaren, which I had one, I paid 200,000. A year later, I sold it for 128.
Yeah.
Talk about a loss. It was the biggest mistake I ever made. I'll never do it again. So it's not because it's not a badass car. It's a gorgeous car, and it's fast. It's faster than all the cars I have here. But there's too many of them. They're a dime a dozen. So I'm competing with everybody and their mother. So I have nothing exclusive to compete in the market when I want to go to sell that car. I bought it for it to enjoy it. So in that particular case, it's different. And that is what you have to understand. So I bought one car to enjoy, like my clients buy one dog as a pet to enjoy. I bought certain cars that I love, I enjoy, but I baby them more because I know that they're going to be worth millions in the future. So those are kind of like the breeding stock that I would spend money, invest in, because those are what I need to build on. So I can't give them away cheap because I know they're going to be worth more. Beanstalk, for example, So, and that is the business mind that a lot of these people don't have. The other issue where you come in, Pat, is breeding. I go through this every month with at least one client, if not 5, who are breeding to my dogs. If your progesterone numbers are not correct because either your vet machine is a piece of crap or it's not calibrated properly, maybe you're not using a lab, if your timing is off, it is very rarely the insemination. And very rarely the semen, because you can see the semen before you insert it. You know it's alive.
Hundreds of millions.
What's in there. You know what's in there. Hundreds of millions to a few eggs, right?
Yeah.
So you know, and you know the motility, the count, the speed, everything. It got any defects. You got everything. You see it. So when you put it in, it's good. So it's not the stud, it's the bitch. But more importantly, it's the timing that you insert it.
It's the human. People always say to me, I think it's the male. And I'm like, oh, well, was it your female that didn't catch you? And I'm, well, you're not going to blame your female. And then other people will say, oh, I think it's the female. And I'll say, well, was it your stud? And they'll say, yeah. And I go, well, you're not going to blame the female, are you? 99% of the time comes down to human error.
99%. Agree. 100%. And it's always, and I would say out of that 99, if you take that 99, out of that, another 99 is timing.
So, 100%. Yeah. Timing.
It's timing.
People want to save money.
Yeah.
They want to spend 10, 20, 50, 100K on a dog, but they don't want to spend $100 on a progesterone test.
Exactly. So now you have the other issue is now that you invested your money maybe poorly. Now when you go to do your breeding, you're not doing them properly because you're trying to cheapen out on little things here and there. Now you're not making pups, you're skipping heats, you're missing heats, and you're not catching up. And nevertheless, to say that sometimes you get one pup, I just had a litter, one pup. Whole litter sold. Everything was I took 4 reservations and I refunded people or sold them something else because I only had one puppy and I'm keeping it because only one. So, I had the picked reserve to myself, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that happens. It's part of breeding.
Yeah.
Shit happens. I had the opposite. Yeah, my partner from Poland called me. He had a litter. He had only one pup in it too. And, the pup is, it's all he's got. He's like, I don't know. Do I sell it? Do I keep it? What do I do? I have all this money out. I'm like, keep the dog. It's going to make you money in the future. You need breeding stuff.
But just going back, Bashir.
Wait, Patrick. 1 second. I gotta get this. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. You can just go.
Patrick, I'm back. There?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, it's because I have someone coming to fix the gate.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, we keep going. We'll be done soon enough. But where do you see the industry right now? Like, where do you see it right now? Where do you see it going?
So I think the industry is not going to change. I think it's going to be the same as it always was. I think people are just worried because we go through wave. Economy drops, things go back up, things go back down.
Okay.
We have the election. Right now we have a war. Okay. We have Israel and we have Ukraine. And the United States is laundering our money through those two countries. That's what our politicians are doing. So they're draining us. And when the American economy is affected, and then and the European economy is affected because they're laundering their money through there too, it affects the global world. You could tell by the economy based on where it's not being affected. Like the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, they're not affected at all. Their economy is booming. China, they're booming. So who's affected? It's the countries who are laundering their money through those war channels and stealing the money from the people. So, and we think we're living in a great democracy, but really our government is more corrupt than a communist. But at the end of the day,
do you think if Trump gets in, things will get better?
Hold on 1 second. Let me try to get the speaker back on because for some reason I cannot hear you. How do I work this? And I don't usually use Instagram. I don't know how to go back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's hard. It kind of sounds far away. I think it's not you. It's when the phone call came in, it kind of kicked you off the speaker. Can you see me?
I can see you. Somebody just said the sound is low for me.
Let me do this. Let me disconnect this live and start it again real quick. Let's do that. Yeah, Pat. Nah, I can hear you now. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I honestly think it's just a wave of the economy. I'm not really concerned. Some of us get affected by the waves because of our difference of clientele. Again, it goes back to what I was saying. I try to let people come on board with a bigger clientele. I try to build the community to change its perspective and go away from that ghetto mentality and that low life mentality to more of a business minded mentality, because it's a good business. Breeding is a phenomenal enterprise, and it's making millions. And if you can't tap into it, it's a problem. And what they don't understand is that they're trying to drown each other. Okay, that's that poor man mentality. They think that if they don't drown the competition, they won't strive.
Yeah.
This is where they're wrong. They have this small thinking, and they don't understand economy at all and how it functions and what makes it grow. And I'm not going to sit here and explain it to most people because I think it'll come in from one ear and go out the other. I tried. It's not that I didn't try. They don't understand that if we grow together as a group in a positive way, we attract more as a whole.
Yep.
And they don't understand that for those who are on top, they're already on top. For you to try to catch up to them, the only way is for them to go up. You understand? They have to go up, because so like, how do I explain? Let's just give you an example. I own a company, for example, right? And amongst my company, I have all these other companies who are branched out from me. So let's say I make, I build houses, and I'm the top guy who's supplying all the supplies to everyone. Amongst my supplies that I'm supplying, I need a company that's going to do the plumbing. I need a company that's going to do the roofing. I need a company that's going to do the framing. I need a company that's going to do the cement, and I need a company that's going to do foundations and cement, I should say, electrical, and on and on and on. For these guys to strive, it needs to be more than one of them.
Yeah.
It has to be. If I have one electrician, I can only build one house. I have two electricians, I can build two houses. If I have three, I can build three, right? It's the same concept, guys. If you guys are drowning each other and fighting each other over one client, you're always going to have just one client.
100%.
But if you help each other grow, help each other succeed, that success reflects onto more clients because now they're attracted to you. Versus you limit your clientele because of your attitude. So for me, if I'm right now, I'm building homes and I have one of each, I can only do one at a time. I am not going to invest my money into a project that I don't have someone to finish the project for me. Follow what I'm saying?
No,
okay.
I understand.
But if I see there's an army of electrician, I see that there's an army of carpenters, an army of this, and they're all reliable and they're all good. That's the problem. They have to be reliable and they have to be good. Because if they're not, they don't even count. They're not part of the equation. They're useless. They're just in the way, right? Not only are they in the way, they make builders who are really trying to succeed look bad, because now they've screwed people along the way that customers don't want to buy from anyone. They affect everybody around them. But if you're all working together and everybody's good, then all these clients are like, yeah, let's build some houses. And the more we have to build, the more it's feasible, affordable, and appealing to clients to want to build houses. It's the same exact concept in the dog world. So if you have all these breeders doing a good job and they're all helping each other out and they're all growing and they're all succeeding, more clients are going to want to buy, more clients that want to deal with it, more clients that want to come into the industry. But when you have clients watching social media and they hear this breeder, and I literally have seen this, talking about how this guy stole this guy's wife from another breeder. Literally, like out of a rap song or something, and they think it's funny and it's cool. Or I see these guys posting stacks of dollar bill, or I see guys making posts something about this guy owes me this and that guy owes me that and this guy screwed me, and you're laundering your shit on social media that does not concern the world. No one deal with you. No one.
Yeah, I don't think that the industry, 99% of the people in the industry don't realize that they're doing themselves more harm than good. That is 5 minutes of them feeling slightly better for a lifetime of feeling terrible.
Exactly. They don't get it. But they make themselves look ridiculous. Grown ass man sitting there complaining about another man to get support online. Dude, for real. I can't believe that a woman is even attracted to such character. That they even have a woman in their life. It's sad. It's disgusting. And yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, and I suppose for anyone in the UK, like what here is what he's trying to explain is that if we get together and you decide to work together independently and have that trust, then you're not just going to appeal to the UK, you're going to appeal to South Africa, you're going to appeal to the rest of Europe, you're going to appeal to Asia, Australia, New Zealand. And guys, from a selfish point of view, and like Bashir's done it, I haven't done it to the level Bashir's done. I had one dog, I did it, I killed it. My stud fees went from £500 to 7k. I never had to deal with issues. Anytime anyone wrote anything negative about me online, I didn't even reply.
No.
By not replying, I received the clientele that I wanted.
Correct.
Because people will look at you, the lawyers, the doctors, people with money, and they'll say, okay, that guy holds himself in high regard, he holds himself professional, he's well-to-do, he's a family man. I like this. I'm going to spend my money with him. Guys, it's the biggest mistake in the industry is flexing, money, all this. Listen, it doesn't work. Normally the guys that are doing this, they don't make their money from dogs. They probably make it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. The thing is that you have to understand the difference between success, real success, and just running your mouth. There's a big difference, you know. The other thing too is the down failure of a lot of breeders and why they don't last and why the industry collapses is not only that they don't keep their word and they screw their clients over. So they don't. Repeat customer is your number one clientele. I don't need to advertise.
The best.
I don't need to.
It's
Yeah,
the best.
it's the best. Most of my clients buy at least, the average of my clients buy at least in their lifetime buy at least 8 dogs from me. 8 dogs from me. I don't even know how many breedings. That's the average client I have, and they come back and come back and come back.
But but what people don't realize is they're buying 8 dogs from you, but they're probably referring 50 to 100 people.
They're referring people. Exactly. They're referring people left and right. And I do the same too. So if I have people I've done business with and they do good business with me, I refer them. Hey, go to that person, go to this. And sometimes you're not the answer. Sometimes someone else is. And you have to be okay giving that advice, because that will not only let these people know that you're not out there to hustle them. You're an honest man. And honesty is the number one policy in any business. So there's that particular case will help people not be in the situation that they are in now, where they're having a hard time moving dogs. So the other situation I was going to mention earlier completely slipped my mind, that they need to comprehend the best, is that you go into breeding blindly, not understanding things, wasting your energy in the wrong places. You're going to fail. Okay. I've seen people, even today. I had someone who I tried to help, and it was a big mistake. I'm not gonna ever do that again. Advise them, hey, what you're doing, the person you're dealing with, is not a good source to go forward. It's gonna affect you negatively. And they took it personal. They got all upset. Blah. And I was like, okay, look, I was just trying to help you out. Forget about it, But they kept on going, and they started attacking me, and they made me their enemy. I came as a friend, and I became the enemy really quick for telling them the truth. And if that is your character, if you're hardened of the heart, that you become emotional when someone tells you something, that's ego. And I promise you right now, your worst enemy in anything you do in life is yourself. It's your ego, okay? If you cannot receive criticism and accept it, that you agree with it or not, just accept it. Okay, thank you for telling me. I see what you're saying. I don't agree, but all right. But once you make that person your enemy and you start talking poorly to them or get attacked and you get into your feelings, you've already lost. So a lot of people will come to me and they'll say some crazy things to me that make no sense. But I always listen and I ask myself, why are they saying that to me? What makes them think that this is why that this is acceptable, right? For example, I have people call me, oh, if you breed that dog to this dog, that's going to be a great pairing, right? And I say, okay, I appreciate it. I have a different plan in my mind. Oh no, you shouldn't do that. That's not a good plan. In my brain, rightfully so, and it's a little bit of ego, and I always try to catch myself, is how are you going to tell me how to breed my dogs? I've been doing this for 25 years. I know my dogs, right? I always sit back and I always say, wait, before I answer, let me see why he thinks that. I always say, so what makes you think that? And I listen. And unfortunately, I have not yet seen anyone know what they're talking about, but they have an idea. And I know where their brain is going and where it's coming from. I know because when I started, I met people who think that way, who breed in that method. And when I go to tell them, that's not how I do it, that's not how it's done, that's how everybody else does it, and they failed, why would I do it? They get defensive. So I listened, I tried to see where they came from, I accepted their information. I don't agree with it based on experience, not out of the top of my head just being egotistic. No, because I tried it. I started off that way. That doesn't work. I had to find another route. But my route is proven for 20 some years now. So you can't come and tell me it doesn't work to go back to the route that you're all doing that I know doesn't work because I'm watching you all fail. So, when I say that, they get defensive. And that right there is how I know that particular person is going nowhere. Ever. There really is no hope unless they get to control their ego. So unless that ego's out the way and they're really willing to learn and grow, it doesn't really help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that's so prevalent. And I think there's two ways of looking at that here. The first is what you said, people get defensive, They have a different thought process, which is incredible because you've been doing this so long, and this could be somebody who's not even had a litter yet, and they're not willing to take that advice on. What I find, and I don't know if you get this, I don't get this as much, but I used to get it a lot, was what's your advice? And I said, okay, this is what I would do. You give them the advice, you spend time with them, right up to the time it's getting ready to breed or it's getting ready to whelp or whatever, and they don't do it.
Nope, they don't do it. Someone tells them something else and they go the other way.
Because when we go back, they're looking at these people with money. They're looking, well, dog money supposedly. They're looking at these people who are breeding for these colors, doing all these things, and then they'll ring you and they'll say, bro, I can't sell these puppies. I can't sell these puppies. Nobody wants them. I'm going to have to let them go for free. And you're like, well, you know, what
You didn't listen. Yeah, you didn't listen. So there's a good example situation that you just mentioned. I actually now have dealt with this so long, even with business partners, that I tell my new kennel partners, the ones that's just starting off, I always tell them up front, I tell them, I say, I'm gonna guide you the whole way. Two things are gonna happen. One, you're gonna follow my direction and you're gonna succeed without any issues. Two, you're gonna listen to the things coming in and out from other people. You're gonna doubt me and start to do your own thing without talking to me, which I more than likely know you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to fail. I'm going to let you fail. And I'm going to sit back and not help you while you fail. And I'm letting you know this is going to happen because it's inevitable. I've seen all of you do it. I've only had one partner not do that. And then when you fail and you hit rock bottom, you're going to come back to me. What do I do? And that's when I say, now are you ready to listen?
Yeah.
And they always say, no, you don't know me. I'm not like that. They all say that. Every single one. Not one of my partners have ever said that. You'll see. And sure shit, exactly what I tell them is going to happen happens. Why? I know this because this is human nature. And I've seen it happen over and over again to the point. Now I just expect it. I expect nothing less. I had one partner impress me and not do it. And I was like, oh, okay. One out of the 20 some partners I've had. One. So at the end of the day, I hope that eventually one partner tells the other partner, hey, Bashar warned us just like he's warning you. We didn't listen. This is what happened to us. Maybe you should listen. But the thing is, they don't tell them. They just say, they don't say anything. They just step back. Nobody wants to admit they did that, but they all do it. And it's okay. And it's important because, hear me out, guys. You can't get nowhere without failing first. So you have to fail. You have to fail to know what's right and what's wrong. So I had to fail and I had to pay for my own consequence and I had no one to lift me back up. Unfortunately enough, my partners do. They have me to help them come back up. So for them to fail is under my wing is much more graceful than them failing on their own. So I appreciate that they fail and I appreciate that they don't listen in that particular way, which I know sounds crazy, but if they don't do it, they'll never know how important it is to follow this particular technique and this particular procedure that I go through. So they have to do it. They have to fail. And it's just like raising a child at the same time. It's the same thing when you're raising a new company. It's like your new child and it's got to fall. It's got to get back up. It's got to fall. It's got to, it is what it is. So that's one thing. Two, partners. We're talking about partners. A lot of these breeders, they're working with other people, partners or this and that. If you screw your partners over, first of all, you're a scumbag. You're a piece of crap. I don't like people who can't keep their word. And I don't want to see you succeed because people like that, I don't even want in the industry. But I'm telling you right now, if you even think of getting over on one of your partners, you've already failed. You're not going to make it. You're done. You're done. Just shut your doors right now. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a head notice. You screw your partners, close your doors tomorrow, get rid of your dog. You're not going to succeed. I'm telling you right now. You're not going to go nowhere. It's done.
Can I just say something on that real quick? I had a dog, incredible dog. You could breed him with anything, and he was just a fantastic. Anyway, I called him with the guy. We got offered 75k for this dog. 75k. The guy screwed me. He didn't sell the dog. But he thought, oh, I'm going to screw Paddy. I'm going to make all this money on studs. The dog was just recently at home, and that guy had to move to a different country because he screwed that many people over. So he went from having a 75k dog to he could have had hundreds of thousands in studs, hundreds of, maybe even $1 million. We could have made $1 million in that dog.
Easy.
But he decided to screw me, so he couldn't get the studs. And then when he went to sell the dog again, nobody wanted to buy it, so he had to give the dog away for free. And now he has to live in a different country. So that's just an example of what Bashir's talking about. Sorry, Bashir.
And I've seen guys out there, and they have a very well-known dog that they stole from someone or took on a deal with someone and screwed that person over, and they might make some money for a few months, maybe a year, maybe even 2 years, but eventually they're done. They're gone. Okay, and people will remember their name maybe and remember their dog, but like, oh, where are they at? Huh? They screwed too many people. They can't show their face. They're done. You know. So and it starts off, if you can't be, and I tell this to like people all the time, if you can't be loyal to your partner, you know, why would I do business with you?
100%.
Why would I even give you $1? You know, and loyalty is important, man, guy. Like, I think we live in a world where people think that the only way to be loyal, if you're loyal to me, I'll be loyal to you. That's the idea. Well, guess what, guys? If that's how you think, I already know you're not loyal, because loyalty is a character. Loyalty is who you are. Just because someone betrays me doesn't mean I'm going to betray them. No, I can cut ties with them, but doesn't mean I'm going to betray them. I wouldn't. I don't do that. So, and I've had many people steal or betray me or, you know, do bad business, and I cut my ties. It is what it is. But I never do them wrong. I don't revenge back. No. I let them fail. I just step away. Let God deal with it. And that's character. And if you can be honest like that, then you always have, like, for someone to call me, say, hey, Bashar, I want a dog. And I tell them, okay, let's just say $500,000. No problem. What's your banking information? How many of you can tell someone that and they're going to send you 500 grand, eyes closed? They never met you. They've never seen you. They live in another country. They're giving you that money based on your reputation. That's how you build that reputation. You never screw anyone over, ever. You can't have anyone come out and say, that person screwed me, and be able to justify it and prove that you got screwed. So that right there never happened and never will, because I don't let money buy me, okay? I like to make money, but it has to be honest. So if you can't do honest business, you can't follow directions, you can't portray yourself with proper character on social media, you can't manage your money, you don't know the etiquettes of breeding for progesterones and how to make sure you have successful litter, you don't know how to whelp a litter, you don't know how to raise your puppies, if you don't know any of these things, you can't run this business. You just cannot. This is not just any idiot can do it. No. Anyone can learn to do it, yes, but you have to know what you're doing, and all these things are part of it. The first sets of things I've told you, which are part of business, are more important than anything else, because that's to succeed in any kind of business. You need these characters. Then knowing the business itself is where Pat comes in with Master Breeder Academy, is teaching you progesterones, AIs, whelping, how to use an ultrasound machine, how to save money from, like, a lot of people call me like, hey, how many puppies is your dog having? I don't know. What do you mean? I mean, I checked her with my ultrasound machine. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't sit there and count them. Well, why not? Well, it doesn't matter. I don't know how many boys. I don't know how many girls. I don't know what's healthy. I don't know what's going to die. I don't know what's going to live. I'll tell you when they're born.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a week later who survived, because things happen, you know, so.
And the big thing as well with a lot of these people is, like, they all think, Bashir, you're a pioneer of this, probably more than anyone I know. Like, the only business you think you're going to get is in your country. If you think the only business is in your country, just stop. Just stop and start rethinking. I'm not telling you to get out of the business. I'm telling you to stop what you're doing. Yep. Sit down with a pen, write down 1 to 5 things, and at the top of that list, clients in other countries.
It's very important.
Thinking about the people in your country, guys. I promise you, your life will change when you start hitting other countries. I promise you.
And that's another, again, like I said earlier, they have a very small mind. Like I have people call me and be like, I'll give you an example. You know, I'm from Charlotte, Carolina. Have you ever sold a dog in this city? I honestly don't remember. I can't. I sold so many. I can't. I was like, I don't know why. What does it matter? Well, I want to be the first one to have it. I don't want anyone else having a dog here. I'm like, dude, if you are trying to conquer your small, tiny little town, that's how big you're thinking. I'll sell you a dog, but and I always tell these people, I'm like, I wouldn't think like that. You need to think a little bit bigger. When I started, I'm gonna tell you, when I funded Muscletone Pits, was before Bullies, in 2003, I founded the company. It was breeding without any license or any company before. It was just like hobby, right? So in 03, I made the first company. And then in around 04, I started taking it seriously. There was this kid named Jimmy that lived, you know, down in Detroit somewhere. And was a nice guy, you know, I was hanging out with him. And he was breeding on the side. And he was doing it before me, but, you know, like small scale. And I started building a kennel, started doing the whole thing. And he said to me, bro, I think, man, you got to probably get the best setup in town. And I said, in town? So yeah, I said, no, that's not the goal, bro. He's like, what do you mean? I said, if I don't own the American bully market in the world in the next 5 years, I'm gonna resign. I did in 2 years. So that was the goal. My plan. These guys were all thinking about how to conquer their hood or their block. And my mind was like, how am I gonna take over the world? You know? So it's like Pinky in the brain. You know what I mean? It's and if you don't think like that, then it's bad. And it's same with a lot of my partners. Like I remember when my partners in Poland started. Look how successful they are. Oh, I don't know if anyone's gonna pay these numbers in Poland. Poland is very poor. I said, I don't give a shit about Poland. You live in Poland, but you're gonna sell these dogs all over the world, even back to the States. Watch. Well, who's gonna buy them from me? You're in the USA. Doesn't matter. I can't make enough dogs to support the market. Yeah. I will make sure to buy from you. Yeah.
That's the point of having a team.
Right. That's the point of having a team. I'm like, I'll take care of it. You don't worry about that. I'll get them to you. You just do the breedings. And look at them now. They're selling dogs to the United States. They're selling to athletes, to superstars, all over the world. You know. So, and that was the idea. And all of them were concerned. My partner in France was like, oh, in France they're cheap. They're not. Don't worry about them. They'll pay it. Man, we sold dogs in France for 500,000 euros, one dog. So don't tell me they don't have money. They have money. Your circle doesn't have money. And that's the problem, is that these guys only see their circle. They think that world ends where their fingers and friends end.
Yeah.
You think like that. I'm sorry. You don't see the big picture. Yeah, you got to see a bigger picture. The question is they're afraid to go out from their comfort zone. Yeah, and so the crazy thing, there's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing can harm you out there.
No, 100%. That's where people really struggle. But here, like right now, where you're at, your family. I know you got grandkids. Probably the biggest smile I seen in your face when I came to visit you when you were talking about your nephew.
Yeah.
And you were like, even now, like I don't see you smiling as much last year.
I got the grandbaby outside. He just came in too. I just watched him go outside. He just got it.
Like when you speak, what's his name?
You're talking about my grandson, Jaden.
Grandson, sorry.
Yeah. Jaden. He's here right now.
What's his name?
Jaden.
Jaden. Yes. So when I see you, like you would be like, dogs, you know, and business, and let's go for a meal, and you're a little happy, and let's hang out with Trisha, and you're happy.
I love him.
Yeah, but when you're talking about Jaden, you're like, and it's amazing to see. But my point being, is what you got that going on and everything else. Where is Muscletone going? In just 30 seconds, 1 minute, just tell me where Muscletone's going.
So, Muscletone is obviously, you know, it's an enterprise. It's not a small company. It's a global enterprise, right? My goal, and this has been in the works for a while. My goal for Muscletone is to become so large worldwide as an enterprise, as branches everywhere, to allow that a different world to see it. So, for example, I want to be maybe at a particular point where the government looks at our company in a different way. Like for one of the issues you guys had in the UK was the Excel American Bully, right? And this goes back to the character that's being presented on social media, and the news feeds off of that. The news now is all social media. They feed off of that. Oh, look at these people, and look at this, and look at that. And I don't blame them, because if you are outside looking in, even me as a breeder, I'm looking outside in. I'm like, what the hell is this? My wife, when she came into this world, she was like, Rashad, what the hell is these people? Like you're not like these guys. I'm like, no, I'm trying to clean them up, but they don't want to listen. So I'm trying to make Muscletonebullys a better image, and I'm trying to bring breeders along with me so that we can have a big plateau for everyone. That is the goal of Muscletone, to help everyone in the industry. I don't care if you're breeding American Bullies, French Bulldogs, American Bulldogs, Labrador, Chihuahuas. I don't care. I want to give a better look to that, because right now most of the world looks at breeders, they look down on us because of the local. Yeah, they look down on us, not only because you have these weirdos with the animal lovers and the rescue people who have a very narrow view of thinking, but because in their defense, they see a lot of shit work and a lot of shit people in the industry, and they put us all into one bubble. I want to change that bubble. Muscletone wants to change that bubble. That's where Muscletone's going. It's changing that look, changing that idea. Originally was changing the idea of the breed and how it's supposed to perceive and look, changing its health. We've done all that. We've accomplished all these things. Now it's changing the entire market's view from the world. Instead of just within the bully world, now outside of the bully world. Okay. And already we're working on that, because look, we got people like Roy Jones, Jeff Johnson, Mike Tyson, some soccer players that I can't name their name right now, basketball players like Monty Williams, and what's his face? I forget their names. There's so many athletes who didn't know anything about the American Bully that have bullies, and I'm not the only one. There's others that have them out there too. I also have people like royalty in the Middle East, royalties in China, like ex-royalty in China, or people in the government in China. I have people in the government in Taiwan, in Russia. I'm not gonna mention who, but we have a dog going there soon, as big as you can get in Russia. Let's just put it that way. And we allow these powerful people to see this breed and fall in love with it, And it always goes back to me when you see that picture of President Roosevelt with his pit bull, that old picture, No one even knows that. It's crazy to me, but that's what I want to see. I'd like to see President Trump with an American Bully next to him. You don't even gotta be Muscletone. I just want to see him with a dog, So I want to see that, because I want to make the image of the breed. I want to make the image of breeders to look differently,
Yeah. We all got to get on that train, Bashir. We all got to get on that train. We all got to start thinking that big. People don't think it's possible because of where they're at now. But look, listen, Bashir, you and me. I mean, you have gone to the pinnacle. And if I say that to you, I know you're sitting there going, no, I haven't. And you'll probably say to me that it's something similar, and I'll say, no, I haven't. But I think when you see these breeders, they think, I've done it. I got one stud in America, or I got one stud in the UK, or I sold a dog for 100K.
Yeah.
All right, good, well done. That's 1 minute of your life. What are you going to do the rest?
Right. What are you going to do? But you got to do it over and over again. It's like I tell everyone, if you do something, if you could produce one really nice dog one time, maybe 2 times, it's called luck. Even 3 times is luck. But when you produce 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, and it just doesn't stop. Now it's not luck. That's skill, work, and God's blessing, because that's beyond luck.
Yeah.
And I don't like it when people confuse their one-hit wonder luck for knowledge. It isn't knowledge. Knowledge is proven through work and time.
Yeah. And something that you can back up when people listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be able to do it again.
Yeah. Well, you need to be able to do it consistently.
Yeah, if you cannot do it again consistently, then you don't know. Then it was just luck. You just it happens.
100%. I think that's why people rely on DNA and things, because there's a new DNA coming out all the time. So I'll just roll with this, make my pennies, and I'll make a name off that. No. Just take any colour and be consistent with it, and we'll all listen and take you serious. But my last question, Bashir, because I don't want to keep you any longer, brother. if you had to pick three things in the industry, it could be your favorite dog. I'd say your kennel. Sorry to put you on the spot. It could be what somebody's doing, or three breeders, whatever you like. What's the three pinnacles you see in the industry right now? Where you think that's going to make a difference, or just anything?
The three things that will make a difference for breeders in general.
Three things for you. No, three things for you. It could be a breeder. It could be a dog right now. It could be something somebody's doing, the government, or just anything in the industry. The three things you're like, okay, that's the good way that we're going, or just anything along those lines.
I think the most important thing for everyone in general is for our economy to flourish. When there's good economy, everybody does well, right? No matter what you're doing. So economy, unfortunately, we have very little control over it. But when you're on a small scale, you have little control. But when you're a big corporation like Ford, Chrysler, whatever, DTE, whatever, those big companies, then you have a big play onto the economy market, right? So that's a very different aspect. I'm not there yet. I was planning on it, but I'm not there yet. I'd like to affect the economy. That would be something really nice one day. The second big thing I think that I would like to see, and we're talking in the American bully world or the dog world in general, like I said earlier, is I'd like to see people's character change, because that is very big. If you guys want to move up to another plateau, you want to start seeing Netflix episodes about dogs, not just these little AKC shows where they just show up on TV a couple times a year, but like an actual event. If you want to start seeing more dogs in the movies to attract more clientele, you have to change the character and the way you approach things. A lot of people walk away from this industry or don't follow or don't look at it because of the way it's done. Like I have seen a guy who has over 1 million followers who cooks for his dog. He's actually got a little Frenchie. He just cooks for it all day long. And he makes really quality videos. He cooks, got over 1 million followers. He's getting paid by YouTube. He's getting paid by Instagram. He's getting paid by Facebook. And I've talked to the guy. He's a wonderful guy. Super nice guy. And all he does, he's a cook. And all he does is cook for his dog. And it just shows a positive image. Someone who's cooking for his dog's sitting there with a little bib on and he's about to eat. It's cute, but it's a positive thing versus what I see all these dramatic, ridiculous, crazy things on social media about with the dogs and all this fighting. And this is not an image people want to follow. It's not. And if you guys can change that as a whole, guys, like everyone has to do their thing. Like I'd like to see a breeder do something like that. Like, why don't you just do something where you take your dog into town and you let little children pet it? And we did that for a little bit, me and my wife. Like we took the dogs out, we were posting films like that. It brought in quite a few different clientele. But if everyone starts to do it, then you get a better perspective. Maybe I'd like to see somebody, start to dominate the market, like with art. Like I had a plan on bringing a few artists here who just paint dogs. You're giving credit to the artist, you're giving money to the artist, you're giving advertising to the artist, and he's giving it back to you by painting your dogs, right? So yeah, sure, you might have to pay him or sponsor him or whatever, but he's doing something, getting social media's attention. Now you're getting the art world into you. The art world is huge. People don't even know that. I'm not into art personally. Like I have 2-3 paintings that were gifted to me that are worth something, but I personally wouldn't spend money on it. But I know people who spend millions. I mean, literally millions on art. So, and now you start attracting a new circle in the world, right? So like we're doing with the dogs, we're taking them to car events. Now all the people in the cars didn't even know what my dogs were. They've known me, they didn't even know what I did for a living for the longest time. I just didn't like talking about it. And I was like, why am I not talking about it, right? So, I didn't need their business. I have so much business, but I'm like, but it's not about the business, it's about growing the circle, right? So then that's what I started doing. So, and surprising, a lot of them have some of my dogs now, or they buy dogs elsewhere because they heard about the dogs through me. And I don't care where they buy them. I just care that they're into the dogs, right? They're into the breed. So there's just something different like that to change the view on breeders out there, right? That's important. And I would say that the third one is, guys, start responsibly breeding, because some of the things I see is scary. And stop judging people and accusing them of having poor stock when you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, because your stock's shit. So, and the only way to prove your stock is good is longevity. We have dogs that are 15. We have a dog that night at 19. Like if you guys look at it like Stella's 16, she's alive. Magoo's almost 15, he's alive. Kaza just passed away at 13 years old this year. Bean is 11 going on 12. Apollo's 10. Claude is 13 years old. Bison is 12 years old. I mean, Apollo is here 10 years old. I mean, they're all alive, they're all breeding, they all look like they're still babies. That's a breed that most people don't make it to 6 or 5. And for them to live that long is genetics, it's proper breeding and health. So, and I go back to times where people would say to me, oh, Magoo ain't gonna make it to 3. He's too big for his breed. That's not healthy. You should be ashamed of yourself. And yet all their little whippets are dead. And, you know, Magoo, thank God, still striving. And at the end of the day, it's because a lot of people judge based on nothing. Stop doing that. Start educating yourself. Ask questions if you don't know, and ask them to the right people, and try to learn from those who've proven themselves through their work, not those who just run their mouth. And try to improve your breeding stock. And if you could do that, you need to learn. I'd love to see people get certified in things, because right now everybody just thinks they know everything, but they know nothing. I have arguments with people about genetics sometimes, and I'm listening to them. I'm like, you don't understand how it works. And they're just reading something off of Google, or they're reading something off of a journal that they read for 2 seconds, or off some .com website. And I know exactly where they got their information because I've seen it. And they don't understand what they're talking about. I'm like, no, you don't understand what you're saying. You know, like I argument with a guy about color, talking about Merle. It's like, yeah, Merle does not mean the dog is diseased. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a color. There's dogs that are born in nature in that color. Oh, but a double Merle gene. No. You even know what a double Merle gene is. He didn't understand it. And he's like, well, what is Merle? I said, it's a color. He goes, no, it's a pattern.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at myself. I'm like, it's a freaking pattern. It's a pattern of what? And he started telling me, oh, well, pigmentation and I'm like, all you're doing is describing the word color. Okay? It's a pattern of color. Just like brindle, just like a tri, it's a color. It falls down under the genes of colors. So it does not mean your dog is diseased because your dog is Merle. That's not how that works. There's more to it than that. You have to understand chromosomes. You understand the split. You have to understand the proteins inside the chromosomes. You know. So, but they don't know anything.
No.
But they're sitting out there educating and trying to sound smart.
You're probably the one guy I wouldn't argue with when it comes to genetics. I'd argue with other stuff last year, but I would not, because do you remember when we went for a meal?
Yeah.
And you remember you started talking about genetics, and then I was speaking, and then you were speaking, and I was like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, Bashir, you know what? We're gonna have to get a stage someday and put you on it. Because listen, it's okay being in there, bro, inside your head, and you've done it, and you know, veterinarians can go through certain things. Like I listen, veterinarians come in my courses. When they speak, sometimes I'm like, yeah, but have you done this before? No, but we're gonna do it today. Then you're gonna see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, well, that's not what's in the book. And I'm like, well, stop reading the book you're reading. You've just seen it. These don't lie.
No, seeing is very different than reading.
Yeah.
Seeing is very different than reading. And I tell people all the time, it's like, question everything. I tell my wife, question everything. She goes, even you? Yes. Question me. I question me. Literally, I question me all day long. I do something and I'm like, why did I just do that? And I start analyzing myself. Or I go to breed something and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this. Just because my brain is so quick at calculating because I'm at a pattern and years of practice. But I always step back. I'm like, whoa. Why am I doing this? And I try to go back and think onto why my calculation came to that. And sometimes I'm like, no, this is the right calculation. And sometimes I'm like, whoa, I almost screwed up. That was close. And I switched dogs, right? So there's a reason for it, because sometimes I make mistakes calculating, you know? And when I calculate my breedings, I literally do it on a piece of paper. I don't tell anyone how, but it's a genetic formula that I use. But beside the point, we all make mistakes, and we all sometimes act on emotion and not logic. And I always tell people, like, emotion will overpower logic on any given day. So you have to be able to step back and say, is this emotional thinking or is this logical thinking? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Where am I gonna get if I do it? What do I gain? What do I lose? And if I don't gain nothing or I lose something, then it's a waste of my time. It's got to be positive, or it's not worth my time. So if you can't ask questions, so if you question yourself, you definitely got to question everything else too. That doesn't mean don't believe anyone. No, listen to what they're saying. Go check what they just told you to make sure that they told you the truth. Okay, and find it from good sources. Don't go read some .com or some TikTok or Facebook post. No, go check your sources. Read a real medical journal. If you don't understand how to read a medical journal and you don't comprehend it, you're probably out of your league, which means you need to step back and start to learn about this particular item, or speak to someone you know for a fact understands it. Either maybe you have a cousin who's a geneticist or a doctor. Most doctors don't know genetics, but they have the small understanding, basics of it. Actually, pharmacists know more about genetics than doctors. But I mean, you got to find someone who can help you out, and you got to start learning. It took me 4 or 5 years of learning about genetics and sitting amongst several doctors and geneticists that could guide me and teach me. And there's a lot I still don't know. There's a lot. I mean, that is a complicated field, guys. But I understand the fundamentals of it to how it functions for my purpose, and a little more, but for my purpose at least.
Even today, I wrote literally today, I messaged the guy. He said, I think he's Polish actually. He lives in England, and I just said to him, listen, I'm just interested to see how you do cryo.
Yeah.
Why? I said, listen, honestly, I'm just interested because I've seen a couple of things you do, and I'm like, that's interesting. And he says, can I call you? He called me. He says, what's the deal here? Why do you want to do this? He teach people this. He said, look, I seen you do this. I'm very interested. He goes, I can just explain it on the phone. I went, no. Let me pay you. Let me come to your home. Let me spend time with you. He goes, Paddy, no problem. I ain't taking a penny off you. Just come here. We'll go through it, blah, blah. And I see huge value in that because
you're learning.
That he took him 10 years probably, but I'm going to learn it in an hour. And for me, that's huge value. Huge.
Yeah, no, it's huge value. Learning from something is so important. It's so important. Like when you give, I tell people all the time, like they get into a frat with me, and I told this guy the other day, I was like, I just gave you 30 minutes of my time trying to help you, but you're butting heads with me instead. I said, I can't give you any more time. I'm sorry. I got to step away. And he got upset. And I was like, the 30 minutes I gave you is the biggest amount of respect I can give a human being, because you can't replace my time. You can't buy my time. You don't have enough money to buy my time. My time is so valuable. I gave it to you out of love and respect. I gain nothing from helping you at all. I gain nothing. I'm giving you advice because you came to me with a question, and I'm giving it to you, but instead of taking my advice, you're trying to battle with me, which is beyond my understanding. I said, this conversation ends here, have a nice day. And I never responded. He kept sending me messages. And it's not me being rude, it's me being, if I give you my time and if I give you that's like you said, it has the greatest value possible, 100%. And if you're not willing to accept it and take it, and you don't have to believe it, but if you're not willing to accept it, then why do you come to me in the first place? Because I don't need to help you. It doesn't benefit me. I do it out of the kindness of my heart because I want to help people. I like to give back, but it's just, I'm not gonna go back and forth and argue it. And this is another issue with breeders, and I said it earlier, is stop wasting your energy trying to convince people of things they don't agree with you on. Okay, I don't agree. Move on. And that's what you said in the beginning. Move on. Just go ahead. This is what I'm gonna do. You do your thing. I'll see you at the finish line.
Yeah. But Bashir, listen, I appreciate it, big man. Thank you for your time. Brother. Guys, I met Bashir a while back. Me and Bashir came to an arrangement that I'm lucky enough that when he gets clients or anything, I train his clients with reproduction, semen fraction analysis, artificial insemination, TCI, whelping, all these things. But going back, what happened at the very start of this live was Bashir was talking about being in a team, not screwing over your partner, being ethical. That's everything we preach.
Ethical is everything. Everything.
That's the code for everything, and I promise you, stick to that, you will do well. Don't go for the money right now. If you're only starting, think about how you're going to prop up your business, looking ethical and professional, and I promise you guys you'll do well. But look, Bashir, thank you for your time.
Anytime, brother.
Oh, sorry, by the way, what's the name of that cocktail your wife made me?
The what?
What's the name of the cocktail your wife made me?
Old fashioned.
Guys, if anyone ever goes to visit Bashir, make sure his wife shows you how to make these old fashions. The best cocktail in the world.
She makes it good. She makes it good. No one can match the way she makes it.
The best.
Yeah, she makes it good.
The best. But listen, tell your wife I said hello, Bashir.
I will, brother. I will.
I appreciate your time. You're a good guy, one of the best in the business, and you have a good day.
Thank you, brother. You as well, man. Thank you for having me.
All the best.
Bye-bye.